Good morning, everyone.
Text honoring historic footprints.
I think we're going to go ahead and begin the program. Um, I- as customary, I would like to call on Max Bear from the Cheyenne Arapaho tribes to offer invocation.
Bill steps back and Max Bear comes to the podium.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to say a little prayer for our folks and our relatives, all the ones that have been here, to honor our folks that are still here, that were left here and way back there and before our reservation era. And I want to pray that it's going to be good for all of us and then all our relatives, and things will be good. And, when we go home, things are going to be better when we go home. And also down here as well, because we're going to leave a footprint down here too as well. So that's what I'm going to pray for. Pray for everything that's going to be good for all of us. So y'all can pray along with me and in your own way and everything like that. But I'm going to use my words in Cheyenne and then add on some good words for the rest of us. Ahu, han mahaya, nifstani wo matea, hamna tea chikoy madame madanenets, nihanado wastamemeno, nishiwat tememeno, nimamo tamatameno, hana mahaya, shwatan kachkunia, shwatan te'enat, shwatan te hestaneo, te sisters, hetawo, vitapata, denazio, all those relatives that are here, and I ask that you make things good for this celebration, this memorial here, and that we can all go home in a good way, and everybody that has safe returns to their homes in that kind of way. And I ask you bless each and every one of us and carry those blessings along to all those that when we get home and they go tenfold in a good way. Aho, henahane. Amen.
Thank you, Max.
Max raises his head, shakes Bill's hand, and steps away.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Bill TallBear checks his watch against a clock on the wall. He turns over his paper and adjusts the microphone.
My name is Bill TallBear. I am from the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. I am a Cheyenne descendant. I am Cheyenne, and I am a descendant of Graybeard. And I am honored to be here today to pay homage to all the Indians that were here at Fort Marion, and each one of us, we all have a different story to tell.
Bill glances around the room and then lowers his eyes.
As descendants, we are told stories of our the ones that we loved, the ones that our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents cherished and looked up to.
He bites his lip with a sorrowful expression.
And we as Indian people, we owe it to our families, our tribes, and our children and grandchildren, those that haven't even been born yet. We owe this because this story has to be told.
Bill takes a deep breath.
Because it is a part of our history, our history as people, the suffering that we endured. And, we can't change it.
A wedding band stands out on Bill's hand.
But we can learn from it and we can move forward.
He lowers his gaze with a thoughtful expression.
And that's what we're supposed to do as Indian people.
Bill reads from his notes on the podium.
I would like to thank the Gordie Wilson, Dorothy FireCloud, and Mr. Steve Roberts, on behalf of the Cheyenne Arapaho tribes. Unfortunately, our governor, Reggie Wasney, cannot be here today, and so that's I'm filling in for him. I work in the governor's office, so he wanted me to let everyone know that his apologies for not being able to make it today.
He flips over a page.
At this time, we'd like to call on our tribal leaders. There was a Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes, Cheyenne and Arapaho, not both tribes, but Cheyenne and Arapaho, we are two separate tribes, distinct tribes with their own culture, with their own language, with their own beliefs. But for the federal government put our governments together, and we are now one government for the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. But we are going to hear from other tribes that were affected by, what happened here at Fort Marion, the Kiowas, the Caddos, and the Comanches. So we are going to hear from their leaders that are present today, and I'd like to recognize the chairman of the Kiowa tribe, Mr. Lawrence Spottedbird. Lawrence, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Bill lowers the microphone and shakes Lawrence's hand. Lawrence steps up. Text, Lawrence Spottedbird, Tribal Chief, Kiowa Tribe.
Aho, Doc E, they own day. This is a good day, really good day for me, because we have a chance to come here at this place that many of us have heard about, but we've never been here. And so my grandmother's here too. She's direct descendant. Her grandfather was one of the prisoners of war here, Chief of Whitehorse. And many of our Goigu are descendants from some of the prisoner chiefs that were here. And of course, we have two chiefs and a warrior that are buried here. And so we paid our respects to them. We had a chance to have a brief ceremony with my grandmother, Dorothy DeLon, Whitehorse DeLon. And so it's an honor that she's here, and some of our Kiowa elders and our vice chairman is here, and other representatives. And so it's an honor for me to be here, and I want to thank the Park Service for sponsoring this, and for Flagler College for hosting us, and all the organizers, Norene Starr and Amanda Hill and Martina Minthorn, the Tippos from the Cheyenne, Arapaho, Kiowa, and the Comanche tribes. And so I hope for you guys for the effort to put this together and bring us together here. We're all on good terms, our tribal people. And so I also want to acknowledge, too, the chairman of the Caddo tribe, Chairman Gonzalez. So I hope for being here. And so, again, this is my first time in this part of the country, and hopefully I'll be able to check out the fort later this evening to get a kind of a tour, so we can see and kind of feel for what our leaders went through, because we can't forget them and have a chance to experience a part of what they experienced by walking on the grounds that they were held captives, because we must remember that we were at war with this colonizing new nation that wanted to move us away and gain riches from the land and natural resources that this country held for people that saw that opportunity. But as far as I'm concerned, the Kiowa tribe is concerned, and probably all the tribal nations, this is still our country. It doesn't matter who has a deed or a piece of paper that says you own this or whatever. Our ancestors, our warriors, our leaders were buried here and elsewhere around this country. So we have our mark all over this country, because it's inland land. And yes, we were once at war together ourselves, Cheyenne, Arapaho, and the Kiowas, and Comanches and the Kiowas. And I don't know if we fought the Caddos. We probably did. But, we were once at war, but later on, we had that common enemy. So we banded together because we wanted to fight together as a stronger force to see if we can't stop this craziness that was happening to us back in the day. But it's part of our history. But we're still here, too, as Kiowas,
Lawrence looks around the room.
as Cheyenne, Arapaho, Comanches, Caddos. We're still here, being recognized as who we are, as who Dog E made us, in spite of the effort to, I guess, pretty much eliminate us so the colonizers could take over and gain their riches without bothersome from the native people. But we're still here, but we can work together and always remember that history, but don't use it as a way to be angry about it, because we can't change history. We can only change the future. And so we can continue to work together as fellow Americans, as brothers and sisters, to cherish that history and memory, but work together in a good way to do things that are good for our young people. It's good to see the Comanche Nation princess here, young people, and the rest of you, young people. You get to experience something, so remember that as you raise families and you continue in your life. This is an important part of your history. And so remember that as we still do ourselves. And so, we're all direct descendants. My grandmother, Dorothy Whitehorse, her very grandfather was Chief Whitehorse here. And he survived, he made it back to his people, as many of our leaders did. But we're here also to honor those that are still here. And so, again, I want to thank all the organizers for bringing us together, because this is a tremendous time for us. And it's a good thing that we are here together to celebrate together and honor and pay respects to our ancestors, our warriors, our chiefs, who fought as hard as they could to preserve their people, us. And they were successful, because we're still here talking about that.
He frowns with an expression of pride.
So, aho, for everybody that's here, let's continue to always remember those who did not make it back home. And always remember those that suffered for a period of time in their lives in this place, but they made it back home to be among us. So aho for this day, for everybody that's here, especially our brothers and sisters from the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and the Comanches, and the Caddo. And also I want to acknowledge all of our Native veterans who are here too. Aho for being here. So thank you very much, everybody. We look forward to a great couple of days here, and thank you again for the organizers and the hosts, Flagler College. Aho, thank you.
Lawrence steps back and Bill reaches to shake his hand. Bill TallBear returns to the podium.
Okay, at this time I'd like to call on the chairman of the Caddo tribe, Chairman Gonzalez. Would you come up and make a few statements?
Bill speaks facing the long table of panelists. He nods, takes a gracious step back, and shakes the hand of the chairman of the Caddo Nation, Bobby Gonzalez. Bobby has thick hair and glasses. He taps the mic.
My name's Bobby, and anyway, I'm Caddo, Hasina Hene Nadako. My name is Hasina Shui. It means our people's warrior, and I'm glad to be here. He said he don't know if we ever fought. I was married 30 years to a Kiowa. We fought all the time.
Bobby grins and looks around the room.
But nevertheless, I come over here in a good way to pay respects to our Caddo people that were here. And our tribal council, our leadership is here as well. Our vice chairman. We brought one of our artists with us too. And listening to our Cheyenne, Arapaho relatives. On the Starr side, my kids come from, it was a chief, his Comanche war chief. His name was Starr. He went and married into the Apaches. My kids are all Starrs. And so we're related on that side. And on the other flip side, My kids are Hompe White Fox related to Kiowa. And then I got my relative, my grandma, sitting on the end on my Comanche side. Davinanaka, ruler of the morning sun, is a war chief. And so I'm all mixed up, you know. And so I'm really glad to be here, really glad to see the Tipo from the different tribes here that are here. And I can't help but think about, when I was at Harvard at Peabody years ago. I was young, and they took me into a room, and they said, what you're about to see, it may shock you. And they had names of these prisoners of war and these busts, and the Surgeon General had ordered all these natives that were being sent to St. Augustine or Fort Marion to be shot or hung to take their, a bust of them and put their Indian names on there. At that time, there was 2 of them we couldn't identify. At that time, we were with our Caddo. One of them has been identified, and relatives are here. We don't know very much about the other one. But at that time, when I walked in that room, it was like somebody had smothered me, and I couldn't breathe, because just the impact of that shocked me to know that, these against their will. And then we really got into repatriating our human remains. And unfortunately, we wrote a lot of NAGPRA grants. Our Caddo Nation has received more NAGPRA grants through the National Park Service than any other tribe in the United States. I think we still hold that record. It's not a good record. It was a need, and the first tribal historic preservation office off of a reservation in the United States took us 2.5 years to argue that with the National Park Service. So we received the same federal funds that a state SHPO receives, and then later on, because of supply and demand, and because of this pandemic, took a lot of our people. And when that happened, I decided to run for office, and it was just because of someone asked to do it. And now I'm here. And then I get to be here as the chairman of our tribe with our tribal relatives all here. And it's really not, it's kind of like real surreal. And, because the feathers and the different things that I've seen and where we're at today, it's kind of making a full circle. And this horse that was led today by my good brother, Warren, without no one being on that horse, they're there. We all know that. And I'm just really glad to be here with all our relatives here to learn more, to be respectful for our native people, and to come over here and really it's really for something that we can talk about, and we're going to hear a lot about our Caddo side on this part while we're here. Years ago, we got a historic preservation fund grant, and we were trying to locate where this individual lived. We located a cemetery on Buggy Creek in Oklahoma, and at that time, it was being used by Pony Express, and we're still trying to figure a lot of this out ourselves, and this is putting it together for us too. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for allowing us to have something to eat, something to drink, and I want to thank my relatives sitting here and our leadership from our neighboring tribes. Aho, appreciate it. And thank you for allowing us to be here and get to know our people, right? And say hi to them. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. And we're going to be here until the end of time. Thank you.
Bobby steps back with a calm, gentle air and shakes Bill's hand once more as they trade places at the podium.
Thank you, Chairman Gonzalez.
Bill adjusts the microphone and looks down at his paper.
Okay, we'd like to recognize the representative from the Comanche Nation, Miss Rita Coosewoon. Both. Okay.
Bill nods and smiles.
She is a language instructor and a judge for the nation. She is a descendant of Kulia family. Okay.
Bill lowers the microphone drastically as an elderly woman approaches.
Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. I'm also representing our chairman who's not able to be here today. He has got such a load on his plate today because we just lost our secretary-treasurer several days ago, and it's made a devastating problem for our tribe right now. So bear with me while I try to represent in his stead, because I know he would love to have been here to meet you all, because he's very interested in anything that is concerned about tribal history and our perspective on all of our land and management areas of our tribe, which, you know, when you stop and think about it, the remark was made just now about we are here, we've never been gone, we've always been here, our ancestors are still here, and I was told as a child, and I still go by that, they're up there praying for us in that spirit world that we're going to be going to them one of these days. They're praying for us, and they're looking out for us. That's why we're still here, and that's why we're still as Native Americans to this country, but as Numina and other tribal members of the different tribes. That's why we're all still here, because our ancestors are still looking out for us, watching over us. Every day they keep us in their realm, they're watching over us. That's why we're still existing today. And I'm just really honored to be a part of what's going on here. I never would have in my wildest dream thought about I would want here in this place to represent my family, your family, all of our families. It is awesome to me. I don't like English. Because that's me. I am Comanche, and that's I have a hard time sometimes speaking English because it doesn't always say what I want it to say. So I get all tongue-tied about that because I would love to say everything I want to tell you, but I can't do that. I have to use this language, and I'm trying my best to understand why all of this. They say we have to pay people to do everything nowadays. When we belong here to begin with, why do we have to pay every time we turn around, you got to pay somebody. And that should have never been that way. We're caretakers of this land. We don't own it. But there are people that think they do. They might pay rent, they might buy the land, but they can't take it with them. This is our mother. We take care of it, we revere it, because she clothes us, she feeds us, she takes care of our every need. So, take good care of this mother earth. And I was taught that as a child, and I live that way. I try my best to think about everything else in a good way, because our ancestors lived that way. And if you ever talk to an elder, they sit, they visit, and they laugh and they talk, because they're joyously talking all the time. They visit one another and they talk about all these good things, and they want us to stay that way. Even though we've got all this other stuff out in this world that we have to deal with, let's always remember, they loved us. They want us to always have good feelings, good thoughts for one another, and show each other that love. Smile at somebody, love someone, touch somebody, even if you say hi to somebody every day, all the time. And that's why I live that way. I want to always be that way till I'm up there, wherever they are, in that place where it's a good place to go. So, and we all should be looking forward to that. Take care of yourself, love your neighbors, love your friends. You don't have to do for them. You have to take care of you. But you can always be nice to everybody else. You don't have to. There's a lot of people out there that need your help and your support. Right now, this country's going downhill because there's not enough people out here that love the Lord, love the Appa, that's taking care of us. We need to show that love and that respect to the Appa more so that this country can get on its feet. There should be more of that. And I'm sorry I'm saying that. I don't know why I am, but He puts things in your mouth sometimes for you to use, because I lean on Him for everything. I'm 91 years old. I'm going to be 92 soon. And I just think, I'm here because of Him. I didn't realize how old I was for a long time. It didn't dawn on me that I'm an old lady. I've been too busy. And I'm still having a hard time dealing with being an old lady. But anyhow, see, love one another, just loving and laughing. That's what it's all about. And our beautiful ancestors that lived here, that's the way they lived until they were taken away. Some of them were imprisoned. Very hurtful situation, but you know something, even while they were incarcerated, I bet you, I can stand here and tell you, I bet you they prayed to the Almighty. I bet you they were giving thanks to the Appa for just being there one more day. That's the kind of people we are. We're very strong people in our Indian way of life, our Native American, as Thibos call it, our Native American way of life. It's a good life because we are a happy, loving, kind, respectful people. That's the way we're all raised. That's the way we live our lives. Most of us, there are a few of us that straggle, but we have to maybe every now and then slap them around a little bit. but it gets the job done. And I just wanted to say thank you all for having us here. It's been an awesome, the only English word I like, awesome. It has been awesome because our bus driver showed us things that were awesome. I said, how come I didn't live here? No, I don't want to live here. I'm good where I'm at. But I am also one of the tribal judges for our Comanche Nation. We do have our own court system, and sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. But hey, you get in trouble, you got to pay the price. The way it goes. Whether it's here or there or otherwise, we all have to pay that price if we don't behave ourselves. So that's all I got to say about that one, because I'm always waiting for someone to come and hit me in the head with something. But so far no one's thrown any tomatoes at me, so I'm good. So anyway, I am just really thrilled and honored that you all allowed this to happen for our people and for us to be a part of it, and all of y'all that made the arrangements for everybody. Gee, y'all did an awesome job. Thank you so much for being here and for allowing us to come and join you. And God bless you, each and every one. Bless every home that's represented. I ask Him to do that for us all. And when we go home, things are going to be a little bit better. Thank you.
Rita turns away. Bill takes her hand. She grasps it and allows him to lead her back to her seat. The podium stands empty as Bill ushers Rita away. Bill returns to the front of the room and raises the microphone again.
Remind me not to get in trouble at Comanche Nation.
Bill grins at the audience. He leans on the podium, facing the panelists.
I'd like to personally thank Norene for all your hard work, Max, all the Thippo representatives for the tribes, and continue on with the work that you do, the good work, because we have to think in the future, everything we do now, like it was said earlier, our ancestors, our grandfathers, grandmothers, they prayed for us. They pray that we have good things. And we have to do that. We have to do the same, for our children and grandchildren, unborn grandchildren. And, we We have not left, and we are not going anywhere, and we're going to be here. So I'd like to turn it over to Norene. I guess our part's done for today. I'll be speaking tomorrow on my ancestor, Graybeard. So enjoy the rest of the program. Norene.
Text, Executive Director of Special Projects and Resources, Governor's Office.
Thank you, Bill. People want not have them here or stunned to not hit. My government name is Norene Starr. I am Cheyenne from the Cheyenne Arapaho tribes. I'd like to welcome you to this healing memorial. This is what we're here for. This is what we're doing. I am so overwhelmed that everybody's here, that all the different tribes have came, that everybody wants to be here, that everybody wants to honor their people. When I started to create this project
She pauses, emotional.
with Steve and Gordie, I never in my life dreamed that it could be this.
Norene looks out at the audience and blinks back tears.
It's a good day. Today is a good day. Our mother is drinking. She's getting drinks. Our mother is nurturing us back. We went to the ocean, the most powerful place in the world I have ever been to. During the storms yesterday, and we stood out there,
She glances at the panelists.
myself and my granddaughter,
Norene wears a solemn frown.
and we let her take those things away from us that we didn't need or want anymore. Those bad feelings, those negative things. It was just so empowering. That's what she does for us. So empowering that our Mother Earth is still here, that we're still here to be a part of it. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you that we're here to honor our ancestors.
She nods, looking thoughtfully into the distance.
All those generations back, Mr. Gonzalez just told me that some kind of way we're related. I don't know, but we will find that out.
Under her glasses, Norene wipes her eyes.
I know that we have a really good program for you, and I hope you all will enjoy it, and I hope you stay, and I hope you have questions and anything that you need to know or want to know. And I'm really, really grateful that you're here. Right now, I want to thank the NPS, National Park Service, for coming to Oklahoma, and particularly Steve for being so patient with me,
Norene smiles.
because it's like a major teaching, not just moment, but years. But we have worked out a lot of the kinks. So anyway, and I would like to thank Flagler for hosting us and for allowing us to be here, and I would like to thank UCF, who is here also. And right now I'm going to introduce to you Darren Brown, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about what we done last year and what he has for you. Darren?
Norene looks to the back of the room. She leaves the podium casually, and it remains empty until Darren approaches from the left. He wears a blue checkered shirt with a collar. Text, Darren Brown, Cheyenne Arapaho Productions.
Good morning. Pevawana, Niyake. Right off the bat, I got to tell you, I'm not Cheyenne, and I'm not Arapaho. But I've been told on good authority that I've been adopted. I've been working there a long time, right, Chris? Chris told me I was adopted, so I'll go with it. I'm actually enrolled in Cochiti, Pueblo. I'm also part Choctaw and part Caucasian, so I'm Caucasian.
Darren grins.
Want to say, where's Randy? Where's Randy? Randy Wave, that's Randy Burlesing's our director at Cheyenne Arapaho Productions in Hardico, right back here. And we have some more people back who stayed doing all the good work back there. We're all very honored to be here, man. We're so blessed to be here, right? Man, I tell you, so many good things have been said just in this last few minutes. I'm like, wow, man, how do I follow even that? But that's okay. And every one of you, every one of them said something. I'm like, yeah, that's good, that's good. And I like my sister down in the end talked about being old, and I said, you know, you've heard people say act your age. I'm like, I've never been this old. I don't know how to act this age. So I'm not Cheyenne or Arapaho. But we're tasked with telling their stories to promote and preserve languages, cultures, and traditions of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people, and that's a tall order, especially for someone who's not a tribal citizen. And we take it very seriously. And so we were invited last year to come out here, and with Norene and our whole bunch, and just you know, I think the Fort Marion story, even among the Cheyenne and Arapaho people, is not totally well known, and it certainly wasn't with us. And so we kind of jumped into it feet first, and just kind of experienced the whole thing. And we shot a whole lot of video, and over the course of probably almost a full year, I had to kind of piece it together here and there and work on it a few days, and then take off a few days and do other stuff. And so anyway, we have about, I think it's like 38 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that, a little documentary that we put together from our experience here last year. And I think we have time for some questions afterwards, right? Yes.
Darren anxiously looks to the panel. Norene returns as a woman places a paper on the podium. Darren and Norene step up to read it at the same time.
My fault.
That's okay. That's okay. Oh, you want me to say that?
Sure.
I'm told also, last year we got to hear Dorothy FireCloud speak here at Flagler. This year we will hear from her. Is this before?
Now.
Oh, this is right now. Hey, we get to see with her via. That's okay. Things happen. You know, it's live. We will hear with her. We will hear from her via Zoom, and after that, we will go into the documentary. So there she is.
Darren points to the projector screen and struggles to find a way back to his seat.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that introduction. For those that weren't with us last year, I'm a member of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe in South Dakota, and I currently work as an assistant to, can you hear me?
Dorothy looks off screen.
Oh, okay. Currently work as an assistant to the National Park Service Director, Chuck Sams, who is our first Native American director. And I work with him as the Native American Affairs Liaison in our Washington office. I wanted to thank Mr. Bear for the beautiful prayer and the many lilies in the room this morning. It's really an honorable way to get this memorial started. And it's really powerful to see the number of representatives from the 5 tribes representing the Cheyenne tribe, the Arapaho tribe, the Kiowa tribe, the Comanche Nation, and Caddo Nation. And it's so good to hear that there's many tribal youth that are there in the room. It's really critical to reconnect the youth to these places, because as tribal youth, I remember back when I was younger, we would hear a lot of the stories of these sacred places, but we never really had the opportunity to travel to them. So to be able to reconnect the tribal youth to these places, I believe is really critical to the success of the stories that we'll be able to tell. And it was really wonderful to see
Dorothy's live feed freezes.
with everyone today and to hear her good words and the beautiful words of the tribal leaders as well this morning. I wanted to thank Flagler College, both the students and faculty members, for hosting this important event. And an especially huge shout out to Superintendent Wilson, Stephen Roberts, and the staff for hosting this incredible event again this year. And I'm really sorry that I'm not able to join people today. With the government shutdown kind of looming, we had to cancel a lot of our meetings this week, and we were asked really to stay as close to our offices as possible. Also, I wanted to make sure and thank the National Park Foundation that really helped with some of the funding this year. And we've been working real closely with them to do a lot of funding of different projects. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to do more of getting that funding through the National Park Foundation to do projects here at the park. And Director Sams also sends his greetings as well and his best wishes for another successful event, as I've spoken so highly about it this past year. The events of the past which bring you back to pay your respects to your ancestors are part of an extremely hard story. However, it is one which must be told by the National Park Service. So I thank the tribal representatives for sharing their stories of their ancestors and working with the park to tell the story from the perspective of the people who were most impacted by the events that happened at the fort. But who best to determine what those stories are and how those stories will be told in the future. So it's so appropriate to host this event during November, which is Native American Month. And today especially is Rock Your Mocks Day. So I'm really hoping that many of you are wearing your moccasins as I am today. And we continue, the Park Service has been working really hard on developing co-stewardship agreements with tribes across the country. And we're trying to do as many of these, especially during the time that Director Sams is in office. And we're looking forward to the agreements that will be signed between the 5 nations that are there today and the park. And currently the park has over 200 agreements that are in place. And I'm hoping to be able to join you tomorrow afternoon to talk about more of what we're doing and to get into greater discussion about what we're doing with tribes across the country, as well as in Alaska and with Native Hawaiian communities. So I wish you all a successful event and look forward to the successful stories about friendships that are developed during this time, as well as the other kinds of networking that are going to be going on today and tomorrow. So thank you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
The audience applauds and her eyes dart around the screen. The projector screen goes black with the Flagler College logo. Norene returns to the podium beside a computer tech.
Thank you so much, Miss Dorothy, FireCloud. Next, we'd like to hear from our Superintendent for National Park Service here, Mr. Gordie Wilson.
Gordie takes the mic. Text, Gordie Wilson, Superintendent, Castillo de San Marcos National Monument.
Thank you, Dorothy. It's really humbling to have this kind of a turnout for the event this year, and it really it's not, we had hoped when we started this process a number of years ago to develop some tribal partners. And what I think we're finding is that we're finding tribal teachers to help us learn and help you share those stories that need to be told. We can't tell those stories. You have to tell those stories. So thank you for being here to help us do that.
He glances at the panelists.
And please let us know how we can do better next year, because we really hope that this becomes something that grows and continues to grow. And as Dorothy FireCloud said, this is an expanding around the National Park Service, but this site is a little different than many of the other co-management agreements that she talked about. In many cases, those are historic tribal lands that are part of national park units. This is not necessarily a tribal land for most of the tribes that are associated with this site. It's a place of pain and suffering and things that are very difficult to deal with. So it's a little bit different, and we recognize that, but we need you to help us get past that and continue this healing that we've started here. So thank you, enjoy the weeks, and please let us know how we can make it better. Thanks, Dorothy.
Gordie makes his way back to his seat.